Jabez, and today on the Girl with the Peter Spirit podcast, I'm going to be talking to my daughter Christine, aka Rainy Days. Hey, Rainy.
Hello.
Oh my gosh, well, I'm not going to waste any time. I'm just going to dive right into today's topic. Although, normally, marriage is not something I really want to talk about. I'm seeing that mind tanked. But today, I want to talk about your marriage to somebody that you don't know who apparently lives clear across the world, right? And it sounds crazy when I say it, but it's actually true. And this is something that started like maybe at the beginning of 2023, right?
Yeah. So around the beginning of 2023 is when God told me that he has somebody for me, and he essentially showed me in a vision. I didn't see what the person looked like. I just sensed his presence next to me, and then I could sense God's presence before us. It was pretty awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And so what happened then? So it's like the person is with you, God is before you, and then did God say anything?
He didn't say anything, no. But it was pretty awesome because I heard a song. The voice sounded so angelic, and it was I Love You by Faith Evans.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no
Pretty
instrumental.
Cool. Yeah.
Or rather, it kind of almost sounded like maybe there was some sort of like harp. It wasn't the regular instrumental, and the voice sounded like a voice I've never heard before. It just sounded angelic.
That's so cool. And
Yeah.
a harp. Wow. That's pretty awesome. That lets you know right from the start, angel and harp and all of that, that your marriage is definitely ordained by God. You can rest easy about that part of it. Yeah? Doesn't mean that it's going to be easy, though, but...
No.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'm not
Nothing's easy.
expecting it to be easy.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm grateful just for that peace of mind that is going to be Christ-centered.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's because the last thing I want is to get into a marriage and God is not the center and he's not the foundation, because then that's not a sound foundation.
No, that's true. That's true.
I was just grateful at that point for that confirmation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's cool. But then I'd be curious though as to what he looked like. Weren't you like dying to see his face, like dying to know what he looked like?
Yeah, I was pretty curious, and so when I was asking God about it, he reminded me that a couple months prior, I actually did see his face.
Really? How? Like in a dream, vision? What?
It was a vision that I didn't realize was a vision.
Okay.
Because I was asking God at that time if I was gonna get married and stuff, and I wasn't hearing an answer, but sometimes I would like wonder and like try to picture, okay, what kind of person is this person gonna be, like what kind of what are they going to look like. At one point I just tried to picture what it would be like to just maybe be like sitting down and watching a movie together, and I did not have a clear image. It was just like a vague figure.
Mm-hmm.
And then all of a sudden just a clear image of a person I would have never thought of, and I assumed it was just like a fluke, like my imagination. I was like, wow, that's very weird.
Yeah, because he looked totally different from who you saw yourself with.
Who I would have expected to see myself with.
Right.
Yes, he looks totally different.
Yeah.
And so that first time that happened, I was like, okay, that's weird. Just brush it aside. The next time I started thinking about marriage again, and maybe like walking in the park with somebody, same thing.
Same person.
A vague
Yeah.
image turned into this person, just as clear as day I could see him, and I was just shocked by that, but I thought it was just, I don't know, just a fluke. I was like, wow, I think I'm tired. And so I was just like, okay.
That's not, I thought when you came and told me, oh, she must be tired, I thought, this girl crazy. Oh, yeah, I was like, what are you talking about? Like, you're seeing the exact person you're supposed to marry, and it's like, what? You know, because I know that anything is possible with God, but then when that happens, you're like, this is crazy. This is really, really crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. And the thing about it is, I will also mention, is when God gave me that vision and of getting married where I couldn't see who it was in the beginning of 2023, my mind had completely like shifted, and my focus was entirely on dealing with my health at that moment. Because you know, we've mentioned it before, but I was dealing with cancer diagnosis and looking into getting surgery for that. So at that time, my mind was nowhere near marriage when I got that confirmation.
Right.
So that was just another thing that made it very clear to me that
it was not just you.
it was, yeah,
It's not just you.
it's God,
Yeah.
not just me wanting it.
You also got where this person is living, and this person is living nowhere near here.
No.
It's like clear across the world, someplace like far, far away.
Yep.
And then I'm thinking to myself, okay, how are you going to meet this person? How is that ever going to happen? On what planet? Yeah, because it just seems like, you know, unless you go on a dating app and then that person happens to be on the dating app and then you happen to make a match, you know, like what are the chances? I mean, I feel like it's just, the chances are as slim as winning the lottery. You know what I'm saying? Just based on that, you know, geography, and then who this person is. So yeah, I was like shocked when you came and told me, and then I was just like thinking, you know, yeah, is this girl crazy? Like what? Yeah.
I asked God a million times because I couldn't believe it, but I knew I wasn't imagining what I was getting. So I asked God for confirmation a million times, and He gave me confirmation a million times.
And which you came and told me a million times. And then after a while I was like, are you sure you're getting enough rest? I mean, I don't know. You know what? The thing about it is that I could not say to you, oh, I don't know, this is kind of weird, like, because I know who God is. God specializes in the impossible. His word says, eyes have not seen, nor ears heard, nor entered into anybody's imagination the things that He has in store for those who love Him. So I know that, right? Up here. But then when you're coming to me, I'm just like, my heart, in my spirit, I was just like, oh my gosh, this is crazy. Like, it just seems so unreal.
And I think that's a natural response, because that was my response. I was like, how is this possible?
Yeah, and it's so funny because, you know, like for me, if I were you, I'd have kept it to myself. I would be like, okay, I won't have my mom thinking I'm losing my mind. And you know, I never said that to you, because then, you know, I'm always about like trusting in God and in what God says. And even if it seems like it's just outlandish, you know, that's God. He can do anything He wants because He's all powerful.
Right.
But then honestly, like, you know, I never said this to you, but I was thinking, oh my God, like, you know, I'm a little concerned about Rainy, because I don't know how realistic this is. And that's the thing. God doesn't deal in what is realistic. If you're going to look at God in a logical, realistic way, it's not going to fit.
Right.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's the human logic, right?
Right. That's exactly it. Human logic. We can't use human logic to understand God.
Right.
You know what I mean? Because he's beyond human logic. He said his ways are far above our ways and his thoughts are far greater than our thoughts. And so,
Right.
yeah.
And he hasn't failed to prove that, so.
Yeah, he hasn't failed to prove that. Yeah, but even so, and even though I know that, the human side of me was going, oh my God, I'm concerned about this girl. Like, and I didn't want to tell you that. And the thing about it is that those visions and dreams got more frequent after a while, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so can you imagine you coming to me all the time, oh mom, I had another vision. Oh mom, I had another dream. And I'm going, oh Lord, help this child. I mean, there's a fine line between sanity and insanity. Please don't let my child be crazy. And you didn't know I was praying that way, but I was. I was like, what's going on with this girl? And it has nothing to do with what God can do, because I believe that. But at the same time, I was like, oh my, I kind of was wondering, is this for real? Are you really hearing from God? That kind of, and that's human. You know what I mean? That concern, because hey, if it were somebody you grew up with, went to school with, met in college, I'd say, okay, it's a possibility because the person is in your way, there's opportunity. Yeah.
Right, and I think that's the thing as to why it was so hard for me to believe as well at first, because why I needed so much confirmation, because it seemed so impossible.
Yeah, outlandish, really outlandish.
Right, and for me, I figured, hey, if I'm gonna meet somebody, it's probably gonna be, if not in college, when I get a job. So for God to show me what he showed me, it was like, and obviously I couldn't imagine some of the details in terms of personality and character.
The cool thing is that God confirms everything that he shows us, right? So here I am, like, wondering what's going on with Rainy, and I'm like questioning God too. I'm like, God, I don't understand. Like, how is it that my child is going to meet this person who is clear across the planet? And then I started having dreams, right? I started having dreams about this person. I'm like, what? Yeah. So that is how God works, right?
And so that was very relieving to me, because as much as I trusted and I knew that what I was getting was the truth, I am still a person, and so I have my moments of doubt and wondering if this is just all me and all in my head. And so it gave me so much relief.
Yeah.
Like, God is so good, because he knows. Like, I know he knows how much relief it gave me.
Yeah, I was relieved too.
Have that confirmation through you.
Yeah.
And also to know that, hey, there's somebody else who is seeing what I'm seeing, getting what I'm getting.
Yeah. And it did that for me too. Like, once God showed me this person, I was like, okay, you're not out of your mind crazy. you're actually seeing, and don't get me wrong, don't feel any way about it when I put it that way. I'm kind of like a little over the top in what I'm saying, but really and truly I did have moments of concern, but it's not, I'm kind of like
belaboring the point.
Yeah, I'm kind of belaboring the point, and kind of like, I'm kind of belaboring the point a little bit, but the thing about it is you felt that though too, so don't be in your feelings about it, you know what I'm saying?
I mean,
don't be in your feelings about me saying, oh, I had concern that you were going to the cray-cray.
I didn't think I was crazy. I just wondered if it was just my imagination.
Yeah, I didn't really think you were crazy, okay? I really didn't think you were crazy. I really didn't think you were crazy. No. So you're not talking to me now? Oh my gosh.
No, we can talk.
We can talk?
Yes.
Okay,
I
until after the show.
You to stop mentioning the idea of me being mentally unstable.
No, I don't mean it like that. I don't mean it like that. It was like, you have to admit, if I came to you and started talking about some person living, in another hemisphere that I don't know how I'm gonna meet or I'm ever gonna meet, you're gonna start wondering after a while too, So
Well, I mean, it's not, but your situation is not that far off from my situation in trusting God and
for what he's gonna do for
what
me
he's going to do for you
in the future, but
in the future
yeah,
regarding marriage, right?
yeah.
And he is also
That's true.
also eventually started showing me and confirming to me in dreams
what was gonna happen
what is
with
going
me,
to happen with you
right?
in
And
the future regarding
yeah,
marriage.
that's cool. It's cool the way it works, yeah.
Yeah, but so that's the thing too, and I didn't doubt those things.
You ever once thought I was losing my mind?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, thanks for the vote of confidence. I really appreciate that. Yeah.
See, it's not mutual. But
Yeah, don't feel any way about it. I don't mean it like that. I'm kind of putting it in a way that kind of sounds bad, but you did admit that you were a little skeptical. So let me just say I was skeptical. Is that okay? Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So when I had the first dream, I told you about it, and trying to remember which one was that, because I've had a few dreams about this person, which is crazy.
So the first dream that you told me about was an interview you saw.
Yes.
Right.
The interview. Yeah, that's right. Yeah. My head's like all over the place. But yeah, so that's the first time I saw him. I remember seeing him in a suit. Yeah, and I remember my reaction to the suit. I'm like, why is he doing that ugly suit? Because it was kind of like a burgundish color suit, and then his shirt was like an orangey color. What was like
burnt orange?
Yeah, like a burnt orange, right? So I'm like, burgundy and orange, like, what's up with that ugly suit? And then as I stood there and watched the interview, I'm like, but it kind of looks good. It looks really good. He actually looks really sharp.
Yeah.
And he didn't have on a tie or anything. He had like a couple, because he's like suave like that, This person has swag, personality, right? So it was not weird. He'd make such a bold statement with his suit. You know what I mean? Because he's all about fashion, and he knows how to put himself together really well. So yeah, he looked good. I have to say that.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, he looked really good. And just based on what was going on.
Are you going to get into the confrontation?
Oh yeah, we're gonna get into that. Yeah. Yeah. So anyway, let me talk about the interview a little bit. So he was talking, like, just about stuff and what he's doing, like, career wise and stuff like that, and yeah. And then it's funny because he made mention of his wife, and I knew that the wife was you. I didn't see you, but I knew it was you. And so after the interview, this is the part that gets funny, because I'm always telling my kids that, I'll never interfere in your marriage, I'll never be a problem for you, like, I'm just gonna be this chill in-law, and I'm gonna get along with everybody.
Have we once told you we believe you?
Yeah, no, they don't believe me. They've never believed me. My eldest, Nathan, keeps telling me that he's going to get married and I won't know the venue, I won't know the date, I won't know the time, right? Or Michael will say, okay, well, if he's getting married, I'm not allowed to dance. He's like, oh, no. So I'm like, okay, we're gonna have a mother-son dance. He's like, no, mother, no. So, they've never believed me when I say, okay, I'm gonna be chill. I'm not gonna interfere with your spouse. I'm gonna, get in along with all my in-laws, because I'm that kind of person, And they're looking at me like, yeah, okay, yeah. So anyway, let's go back to my dream. Yep. Yeah, where God is just showing me up.
What happened in your dream? Rachel?
Yes. So after this interview, this person, right, your intended,
intentions.
Your God intended, I had to go back into a room.
Dressing room.
Right, a dressing room where you could go change and whatever. So here I am coming towards the dressing room with a dish of ackee and saltfish. Now, if y'all don't know, ackee and saltfish is Jamaica's national dish. And ackee is fruit, and saltfish is really codfish, salted codfish.
Right.
And so yeah, and it's so good. Yeah. So here
Oxtail better.
you like oxtail better? Well, yeah, oxtail is not a national dish. I'm sorry. So they're not changing it.
Well, they should reconsider.
They should reconsider. Well,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I don't know. Oxtail is good, but ackee better. So anywho, so here I am walking towards this dressing room with a dish of ackee and saltfish.
Okay.
And here comes his mom. Up until that point, have you ever had a dream or vision of his mom?
No.
Okay, so then I saw her, which was so cool.
You saw her first.
Yeah, I did see her first. Yeah, so I saw her first, and she was going also towards the dressing room, and she had a dish of fried chicken, right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, where are you going with that? He doesn't want fried chicken, he wants ackee and saltfish. And she's like, where are you going with that? You know, he doesn't want that, he wants fried chicken. He likes my fried chicken. And I'm like, no he doesn't. And she's like, yes he does. And we're arguing over what this guy wants to eat. So we go into the dressing room, and I said to him, tell your mother you don't want any fried chicken. And she's like, tell her you don't want any ackee. And he's looking at the two of us like,
yeah.
he didn't know what to say. He was just like, and it was at that point that I woke up. Yeah.
So
mama gonna be trouble.
that was pretty awesome. In terms of like a confirmation, but then it also brought up some concerns, potential concerns.
Yeah.
To be aware of.
About your mother, right?
Yeah.
That's crazy. God has a way of fact checking me, because you know sometimes I feel like, you know, I am one way and then God's like, no you're not. Or I'll think that, you know, I've gotten over some flaw of mine and God said, no you haven't. You know, I feel like, okay, I've grown, and God said, where? Yeah, you haven't changed, right? And so that dream kind of confirms that I might be a little bit of a problem. I might be a little bit of a problem. Yeah, might be a little bit of a problem. So I feel like, yeah, so you know, depending on when this marriage is, I have a little time, I think, to work on myself.
Right, and I think that is part of why God is showing us certain things now, so we can be aware and make the necessary changes.
Right. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, and you know, just to say, I also feel like I don't expect anything to be perfect. I still expect there to be plenty of miscommunication and misunderstanding.
Yes, that's life.
That's life.
Yeah.
That's people.
That's marriage.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
And family. So I think the thing about it is, if God is showing us specific things, it's because these specific things are, you know, probably potentially going to cause more friction than necessary.
Right. Yeah, and that's true. And you know, I have a lot of working to do. Yeah, I do have a lot of working to do, because I had another dream, right? And I don't even remember what happened. But what it was is that I kind of woke up from the dream. I was kind of half asleep.
Well, you said you don't remember saying anything, so...
Yeah, like no, when I think about it, I don't remember that conversation at all.
You said essentially that you had a dream that our two families were having dinner together, and that it was going well until it wasn't. And that made me very concerned, so I asked you what you were talking about. And
Wait, did you feel that I was a problem?
Initially it didn't cross my mind.
Okay.
No, I just
curious.
thought, okay, there was some sort of miscommunication. Right, I was just curious, and then you said that
God intended.
Right. future husband was upset with you, and he was acting like he didn't know you. So at first that got me very upset, but then I remembered how you can be sometimes, and I wondered if he had a right to be upset.
Yeah, he probably did. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
He probably did have a right to be upset, and so that was God showing me again that it was gonna cause problems.
I mean, I
Yeah.
don't know, because you say you don't remember the dream. So, I mean, it could be that you said something.
Yeah, if he's not
being
talking to me, I
offended
said
by.
something. Yeah. If he wasn't talking to me, yeah, I probably did something.
Well,
I
I mean,
said
and
something.
that's a thing to be prepared for as well, because I can understand having a valid reason to be upset,
Mm-hmm.
but then that's also concerning to me.
That he
That is
act
how
like-
you deal with conflict.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah,
Yeah,
that is so true.
I mean, yeah.
So
So that
that's-
would be a problem.
Yeah, that's
So that
something
would have
that
to be
you're.
something that would need to be discussed. and
There you
so
go, because
to be
nobody should treat your
aware
mother like
of-
that. Exactly.
Right,
Nobody should be
because-
treating your mother like that. I don't care what I did.
Right, that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't care what you did. Certain treatment is not okay.
Acceptable.
It's not
Yeah.
acceptable,
Yeah.
right? So it was, I think, also eye-opening to me, because it's like, oh, like, it never really crossed my mind to think that I would need to brace myself for conflict.
Right. Yeah, and so it's so cool how God makes
Yeah.
you aware beforehand, like the potential issues,
Right.
right?
Right.
I think also there might be like cultural issues and differences as well.
Right. I mean,
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that, but I, also had a dream before that dream where God was showing me potential conflict. God was essentially showing me him taking me home to meet his family. And I had no clue that he was going to be doing that, and that would have been like the first time I would be meeting them.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very, very ridiculously nervous. Initially, when I came into the house, his grandmother and his mother were the ones to greet me, and his mother seemed to, at first, be okay with me, or seemed to like me, and then all of a sudden her demeanor just changed, and she seemed offended somehow, which made me even more nervous. And then she just went into the kitchen to finish cooking dinner, and his grandmother stayed back to talk to me, because I guess she was enjoying talking to me. I don't know if I should also mention one of the things his grandmother said, which I don't know if this is really relevant or makes sense. Because sometimes random things get into meaningful dreams.
Right.
And she mentioned that when she first came to the States, she was living in Houston, so she goes by the name Whitney.
That's hilarious. I mean, I feel like that's something random that just crept its way into that dream, though. That's hilarious.
I feel like it's random. Like, I don't know if that's really relevant. So then when dinner was ready, and it was time for everybody to be seated at the table, I wanted to be polite, so I asked, okay, like, where do you want me to sit? And she surprised me, because she was just so cheerful and like bubbly, and like, taking me by the arm, and she was leading me to the seat next to...
Who was that? The grandmother?
No, his mother.
Mother. Okay.
Right. So it took me by surprise, because at first...
Oh, she had become standoffish.
Yeah, she became standoffish, and then all of a sudden, when I asked where to sit, she was just very, very bubbly, very friendly.
Mm-hmm.
Even
That's kind of weird.
very weird, right? So I was like, oh, like, I guess she does like me. But yeah, so she was about to seat me next to her son. Like, oh, like you can sit here. And then she just stopped all of a sudden. And her energy just changed. She was just like, actually, I'm gonna sit next to my son because I haven't seen him in so long.
So I'm not the only problem person in this scenario.
Yeah.
in this marriage relationship, I'm not the only troublemaker, right? Yeah.
No.
Apparently not.
No. And yeah. So of course, understandably, I felt pretty like embarrassed and confused, and I was just like, okay, I guess I'll just sit over here, out of the way, or something. And as I am having an existential crisis, I see out of the corner of my eye my future husband just get up and move. And he sat in between me and his mother, like separating us.
Mm-hmm.
So,
okay, so let me get this right. So he's sitting, and then instead of putting you right beside him, she takes that seat and puts you on the other side of her, away from him.
right.
Ah.
Right.
Okay.
So what happened? Right. So the seating.
Oh, we need a seating chart.
Seating chart. Yeah. So the seats were like this,
Mm-hmm.
right? And he was sitting here. His mom decided to sit here, and she left me to sit here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So he gets up
Mm-hmm.
and he moves and he sits next to me. So he's sitting next to both of us technically,
Mm-hmm. But in between you and his mom.
but in between me and his mother.
Yes.
Like just
That's it.
got up without saying a word, and
Yeah.
I was just so shocked. But interestingly enough, I also won't forget. Like he actually seemed upset, but he didn't say anything.
Oh, so he didn't disrespect his mother, but he made a bold statement, right, to everybody sitting there that, hey, you don't get to do that. You don't get to disrespect my intended, which is so cool. I mean,
Right.
it's not a lot of guys would stand up against their mother. I know firsthand about that, where your mother-in-law, whatever she wants or whatever she does, it is excused. Well, whatever she wants take precedence over what you want, and then whatever she does, even if it's disrespectful, it's excused.
Right.
So to hear that, even though his mom came between you two, he came and sat between you two to say, hey, you don't get to do that. That's a plus in my book. Like he gets points for that, because that is very important in a relationship, where you're drawing a line and you don't have your parents disrespecting your spouse. And it's cool that God showed you that too, that he's a stand-up kind of guy.
It's not the first time God has shown me respectable things about his character in a dream.
Mm-hmm. But what is also really cool is that God is showing you the role that he's going to play in terms of your service to God, in terms of ministry.
Right.
That this person is going to be in ministry
Right.
with you and
Right.
and with me at some point, yeah,
Right.
which is so awesome to know, because
Mhm.
you don't want to be well, if it's God putting you together, you can't be unequally yoked.
No.
That's the first thing.
Right.
So yeah, that's pretty cool that you're going to have this thing that you're doing together for God.
Right. And it's funny because I have prayed for that for years, where I just told God, if it's not somebody who loves him and is living for him and belongs to him, I'd rather stay by myself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it's really awesome to get that confirmation that he's going to put me with somebody who's equally as dedicated to him as I am.
Mm-hmm. That's cool. That's really
Right.
cool. Yeah.
There can't be any conflict.
Yeah.
So
There can't be a tug of war. You can't
No.
be pulling one way and your spouse pulling another way. That can't work. So you have to be together, especially when it comes to serving God, because ministry is hard. And it takes a lot of time,
Mhm.
and you have to be supporting one another in it, especially when it's of that scope, that you saw, of that magnitude that you
Right.
saw, because it was a pretty huge ministry.
Right.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And so when it's a ministry of that magnitude, it's going to take effort, it's going
Right.
to take away family time. So you have to be supportive of each other in that.
Right.
Besides, you have your careers and all of
Mhm.
that. So yeah, ministry takes a lot of time.
Yeah.
And
there's
dedication.
Time and dedication.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so I need somebody who's equally as
Mhm.
committed,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah. And you can have a ministry and you're supposed to have a separate ministry.
Right.
But when it is that you have a combined ministry,
Right.
that is so cool. Like
Yeah.
you don't get to see enough of your husband at home. You're working together in ministry as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But I feel like that's the best scenario.
yeah,
Right?
that is the best. It's like the icing on the cake.
Yep.
What is also amazing is that in one of your dreams you saw how he's going to get along with your brothers. That was pretty cool. Yeah, because your brothers are so overprotective. It's so hilarious. It's like one's older and one's younger.
Right.
But oh my gosh, they're like so overprotective.
I mean, I don't know if they're that overprotective. I don't think there's been a scenario where they've had to.
Oh, come on.
Be
Nah.
that.
Yeah, Nathan is like, do you remember like at college when some boy was talking to you?
I mean, that was years ago.
I know, but
That was
no,
years
he
ago.
has not. They have not changed.
That was years ago.
It's gonna be the same thing, you know, with this boy talking to you and he comes over. Yeah, and even your younger brother, you know, like when she fixes up herself, you know, like does her eyebrows and stuff. He's like, "What's wrong with your eyebrow?" So it's good to know that, you know, they don't have to be beating up somebody. You know, they're actually. They were actually friends in your dream, right?
They seem to be getting along very well, so
Mhm.
it seemed like they might be friends.
Right. Yeah, which is good. I've said this to you a few times that your situation kind of reminds me of Dune, the movie Dune, which you have not
Well, yeah,
seen.
so I
Yeah,
don't really.
because
know
I don't know what
talking
rock you're
about.
living under, but you haven't seen Dune
Yeah.
as yet. But I keep telling you to watch it. Yeah?
Oh.
Because in Dune, the lead character has been dreaming about this girl for a while, and then he sees her. And he recognizes this girl from his dream. And I've been saying to you, I feel like it's going to be like this for you and this person, where this guy, I'm hoping that the way you're dreaming about him and the way I've been seeing him in my dreams,
Right.
that God is also showing you to him in his dreams. I think that's the best case scenario, right? Because I feel like,
Yeah.
I've said it to you that I feel like it's going to be like a Dune moment when he's
Yeah.
going to see you and be like, oh, that's the girl in my dream. How cool would that be?
I think that would be awesome, but I also feel like that's probably going to be the case.
Yeah.
Based on what God is showing us,
Mhm.
it would have to be in that same way, where it's like these undeniable revelations.
Yeah, it has to be like that, because then otherwise it's like you're dreaming, I'm dreaming, and what's the point? Yeah. So I feel like he's also dreaming. I think it's cool that the potential is there for there to be like a Dune moment. That's kind of cool. Yeah.
I think so.
What are the struggles though? You know, because sometimes when God shows you stuff and then it doesn't happen right away, there's a bit of anxiety or impatience that comes with that. Because I know when God tells me, hey, I'm going to do this for you, and then it takes 2 years or, you know, 5 years, I'm just like, oh gosh. Sometimes I'm thinking it's better that I had not known, because then I wouldn't be stressing about it, right? So do you feel stressed about it?
Yeah, I stopped asking God maybe like a year ago why he showed it to me.
Yeah.
Like, why did you show me this
Yeah.
now? Like, why do I need to know this now? And it's just like he just confirmed that he has a reason for everything. And now in terms of especially like conflict or quirks, I'm grateful to get that heads up. God has made it very clear that I need to, you know, brace myself to deal with these challenges and
Mhm.
these trials and tribulations, but that it's going to be well worth it. And yeah.
Yeah, and he also showed you how much this person is going to care for you.
Right.
Yeah, how loving he is,
Yeah.
how tender, how gentle, how considerate. And it makes me as your mom really happy.
But you've
Yeah.
had dreams like that too, no?
In terms of
Like the
this.
airplane dream.
Yeah, I've had dreams like that as well. Yeah, so that's what I'm
Right,
saying. Like
right.
God has
So-
shown you him being that way. He has also showed that to me. That
Right.
yeah, that he's gonna be that way.
Was there anything in particular that happened in that dream where you said you saw us together?
I think in that dream, what struck me was how much he enjoyed your company and always wanted to be around you, and traveling with you and doing things with you. And then also, I've had dreams where, well, besides that family dinner going wrong, we've had family dinners where stuff went right. I've seen instances where he's with our family and we're getting along, having dinners, long table, everybody's piled up there, joking, laughing, having a good time. So it's good to know that this is somebody that the family is going to embrace, that he has a personality where he's going to come in and fit in, and he is sociable. And
be accepted.
Right, yeah.
Right.
God has shown this to us so that I can prepare myself for sending off my one daughter, like my only daughter. Yeah, because we talk a lot, like on the phone, and she's walking home from school and we're on the phone the entire way, or she's on the bus and we're talking, she's in the Uber and we're talking, she's making dinner and we're talking. So, we talk a lot. It's like, I know that's going to cut off, or not cut off, but it's going to be like tremendously reduced the amount of time we're spending together once you're married, which I expect that, but it's
not completely. It's good to see family dinners.
Right, so that's why it made me happy to see family dinner, because God knows that that's a thing with me, like partying with my kid. But even your brothers, I'm like, oh, I always say to Michael, you're gonna live with me forever, because he told me that when he was little, that I'm gonna live with you forever, and no, he's just like, no. So I'm like crushed. So to know that this person is gonna come into this family and fit in so well, it's just really cool, and I'm thanking God for that, because that's a parent's biggest concern. When your kids get married, that they're going to be treated well by their significant other, and they're going to have a good life. And so to see that, God is so gracious and kind to me, that I'm so grateful that God is showing me that, hey, your daughter's going to be fine, regardless of the challenges, illnesses, whatever it is. There's going to be a time when you're going to have a family. And I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm actually looking forward to meeting this person.
Right.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like we're discerning that the time is winding down.
Yeah. It seems surreal. It seems unbelievable. Like, people might be skeptical, just as I was skeptical.
Yeah.
But I know that God does not go back on his word.
No.
And whatever he says, that's what he does. He means what he says and says what he means. And he's showing you and he's showing me. So we're confirming it for one another. And so that's the thing that he does whenever we kind of get iffy in terms of like, oh, is this for real or is this just my imagination? He makes sure we know that this is him and not just our imaginations. And I could not have imagined this person, because I don't know him.
No.
I did not know how he looked or whatever, and I saw him.
Right.
And there are instances where like something's happening to me and you dream it. So we're connected in that kind of way. It's pretty awesome, right? The takeaway from this is that if you trust God, things will work out for you. You just have to depend on him. I am actually looking forward to meeting this person. Yeah, that is something I pray about, like God sparing my life for me to live to see you happy, for me to see you having that life that you're so deserving of. So yeah, that's it. Yeah, we're gonna wrap this up today, because I could go on and on about this.
It's something looking forward to. God has really, built up the anticipation.
Right. He has not only built up that anticipation in you, he has built that up in me as well.
Right.
Because it's just like, this is just a wonderful person that you're going to meet. And so, I am so looking forward to it. And this just goes to show how God works in our lives in an amazing way. So I can't wait to share more of what is happening, and also to follow up you know, when you actually do meet this person. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, when you do meet this person, we have to come back and talk about it. Yeah. So.
Yeah, well, not immediately, I don't think.
Yeah, not immediately, but yeah, we'll have to talk about it because.
Right.
Yeah, we will. That's a wrap.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's a wrap. So until next time, guys, thanks so much for sticking with us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. So until next time, blessings.
Don't sleep, don't sleep, don't sleep on my association. Don't sleep, don't sleep.